guy is making so much noise. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Mbali, and if you guys are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on that play button. Don't forget to subscribe and also to hit the notification bell just to get a notification every time I post something new. If you are returning, if you're part of the family, then welcome back. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you so much for tuning into another one of my videos. So as you guys can see from the title of this video, I will be showing you guys how I do my eyeshadow. So the tips and tricks that I have on eyeshadow, I think I have 5 or 4. I lost count throughout the video. So if you'd like to hear more about that, then stay tuned. Once again, do not forget to subscribe and also just to hit the notification bell just so you get a notification every time I post something new. Leave your comments down below. Let me know some of your tips and tricks when it comes to eyeshadow or when it comes to makeup in general. So until then, stay blessed to be a blessing. Okay, so before you begin anything, before you begin your eyeshadow, you need to have the right brushes. Not expensive, the right brushes. So I'm just going to show you guys the brushes that I use. I use 4 brushes when it comes to my eyeshadow looks. So the first one is this eyeshadow brush. It's called an eyeshadow brush, and it's in the number 406, and this I got from Dischem. It's a brand called Carla. That's what it looks like. This was approximately 59 rand if I'm not mistaken. Absolutely love this brush. And then the next brush that I use is also from Carla, and this is a crease brush, and the number is 415 or 6. I'm not sure, but this is what it looks like in case you want to go get it. So this I use not necessarily for my crease, but I use it to blend in the colors, and you'll see throughout this video. And then the next brush I use is an angled brush. So this is what it looks like. So I got this from Pep Home. I got it recently actually. It was 29 rand I think, and I absolutely love it. I use this mainly for my cut crease, and you'll see how I use it. And then lastly, I use this brush. I don't know what it's called. I really don't know what this is called, but I use this brush for the inner corners of my eyes. So yeah, these are, and oh yes, I got this brush from China City. So I got a box of brushes, and this was in there, in that box of brushes. So these are the 4 brushes that I always use in my eyeshadow looks. Tip number 1 is to conceal your eyelids. Conceal your eyelids before you apply your eyeshadow. Now, some makeup artists, generally when they clean up their brows, they also apply the concealer on their eyelids. So it's one process for them. For me, it's 2 different processes. So I clean up my brows, blend that concealer in, and then I conceal my eyelids. So the reason why you have to conceal your eyelids is because sometimes your eyelids have darker shades or have areas that are darker. So if you can see with my eyelids, I do have darker marks over here. So that is why I have to conceal. So what I'll be using to conceal is this LA Girl Pro Concealer in the color Fawn. So this is what I use. And then to set that, I use this Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder. Any setting powder, actually, you can use any setting powder that you are comfortable with. I use this one. So yeah, let me just show you guys how I get that done. So you're just gonna apply a generous amount onto your eyelid. Like that. And then you're going to go in with your beauty blender and just blend. Okay, so once you have done that, then you go in with your, I'm just getting my brush. Then you go in with your powder, any powder that you are comfortable with, just to set. So when you're done with that, then you let that sit for a bit, but you don't have to let it bake like you do with your highlights. Now it's time for you to apply your eyeshadow, and that leads me to tip number 2. So when you apply your eyeshadow, you will be using 2 colors. So you'll be using 2 standard colors, not shimmer, not any shiny colors, but just 2 general standard colors. So the first one will be your transition shade. So a transition shade is that color that pulls all the colors together, and it actually makes your eyeshadow pop to some extent. I always like to think of it as like that sunset-y kind of look when you're applying your eyeshadow, or when your eyeshadow has been, or when your eyeshadow look is completed. So when I want a brighter eyeshadow look, I use an orange transition shade. But when I want kind of a darker eyeshadow look, I use more of a brown transition shade. So you must just have an idea of the eyeshadow look that you're going for and lean towards those transition shades that I just mentioned. So the one that I'm going to be going for kind of a lighter look, not too dark. So I will be using an orange peachy kind of look, transition shade, sorry. So I'll be using this. It looks kind of light on camera, but I love how it turns out on my eyelid. So I'll just be using that as my transition shade. And when you apply your transition shade, you almost want to create like a winged look. So I used to use sellotape. So I used to apply sellotape at the corners of my eyes over here and over there. And that's because I was also kind of beginning. I was still starting off this eyeshadow makeup journey. So I wanted that clean finish, that clean look. But you don't have to do that, or you can do that if you are a beginner. But if you like to use freehand like me now, I really love using freehand because it just looks very, very natural. So you'll see how I begin or do that. I think I have actually put it up on my channel before, but just not in this detail. So let me start off with this eye. I generally start with my right eye, so this is kind of weird. So I hope you can see. So I just do that first. Can you see that? So I just put it like that, having like that winged effect, and then I go over my eyelid and my crease. So my crease is here, but I go over that and just apply the eyeshadow and across the rest of my eyelid like that. Can hardly see it on camera, but it's okay. We're still gonna pack it. We're still going to apply a bit more. So the trick here is don't do too much too quickly. If you see that it is too light, just build it up. So apply one layer, and then you can go on to the next layer, onto the next layer, until you are satisfied. So this is how it looks. It is pretty light, but we are going for a light look. So it works. So can you see what I mean by the winged effect that I'm actually looking for over here? So that is what I always like when it comes to my eyeshadow looks. And generally the transition shade is quite high. I've always struggled with having like the high or applying the eyeshadow too high, but then the transition shade has to be high, or it looks really nice when it is high. Okay, now I'm going to be doing my other eye. Okay, so I'm done. I think I'm going to go a bit darker. So I'm just going to use this orange that you can see that I absolutely love, that I've used up quite a bit. So I'm still in the transition shade, but I want it a bit darker. So now we're going to go in with our second color. And that is the color that generally pops, the color that most people will see. So I'm going to be using this reddish, maroonish color. And I'll show you how to apply it. So we're going to apply it just like we did for the transition shade, but just a little bit lower, not covering the transition color completely. So once again, remember we first pat it on and then we spread it. So this color, you're applying it more on your crease. Now you saw with the transition shade we went up here. So now with this, you apply it more on your crease, and yes, just a bit on your outer corner. And remember, you just fold it up. Don't apply too much at the same time. Fold it up until you are happy. So I'm just gonna go on this side. Now I'm going to go in, I'm actually looking for my blending brush, here it is. So now I'm just gonna go in with my blending brush or the crease brush and just blend that out. So blending the transition shade with the main shade that we had just applied. Now we get into the exciting part of the eyeshadow. Well, I think it's very exciting. The cutting of the crease, cutting your crease. So we are going to be using, so what is a cut crease? So a cut crease is basically what the word is. It's when you are applying eyeshadow on the crease, on this part of your eye where your eye starts to fold, but applying it in a way that it actually stands out. So that's the focal point of your eyeshadow look. So it needs to pop, it needs to, you know, attract. That's where people actually look. So you use concealer. So the first thing that you use concealer, and you can use the concealer that you used to conceal your eyelids. So that's what I do. I'm going to be using the the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the color Fawn, and I'm going to be using my angle brush. So I'm just going to show you how I usually cut my crease, and what I have learned throughout this cutting crease journey. So the first thing that you're going to be doing, so you need to know where your cut crease is going to end. So it's probably gonna end somewhere here. For me, I'm comfortable with it ending here. So you need to start in the middle. So apply your concealer like so in the middle. Just apply a good amount and then look up like this. And then yeah, I don't know if you guys can see, this is where your concealer or your cut crease is going to end. So your eyeshadow doesn't crease or your shimmer doesn't get to other parts of the eye or the top of the eye. So yeah, so this is where your cut crease is going to end. So once you have done that and gotten an idea of where your cut crease is going to end, then you start from the inner corners of your eye and you just work your way upwards to where how you want your cut crease to be shaped. Now, as you can see, the eyeshadow still is showing, or the colors that we use is still showing here. I hope some of the transition shade is still there. If it disappears, no worries, we can still apply it again. Okay, so when you get to the end of your cut crease here, you can leave it like that. You can leave it straight like that. It really is all up to you on how comfortable you are. But then I generally like to flare it out like, oh no, it's too much. Like that. So have like a little tail that goes out. So have it angled like that. So I hope you guys can see that. So I'm just going to do the same on this eye as well. Okay, so this is what it looks like when I have cut my crease using the concealer. So some people like to leave it like this and they blend it in and it looks really good. It really does. It looks, you know, it stands out. But I like to apply shimmer to make it stand out even more. So I will be using, or the shimmer that I will be using is over here. So this bronzy look. So I will be using the same angled brush that I used to apply my concealer. So what you do with shimmer, you don't brush it on. You basically pat it on, especially if it is not chunky but thick like this one. So I'm just gonna grab a bit more and just pat it on like that. So can you see it's slowly coming together? It may actually take a while, but the trick is always to build up rather than just putting a whole lot on and messing up your eyeshadow. Okay, so I'm done applying that the shimmer on my cut crease. So this is what it looks like. I feel like it blends in, or it's very similar to the outer corners of my eye. So I will be just using a bit of gold, and I'll just show you where I'll put that. I'll be applying it just over here, just so there is something that stands out. see that, and I'll blend it in so it's not too harsh or there are no harsh lines. And then I'm just going to do this side as well. As you can see, it stands out much better now. Love it. So after you have done that, you're going to be using your, actually before you blend, you go in back with the color that you used on the outer corner of your eye. Just get it quickly. So using my eyeshadow brush again, and then I'm just going to, so I'll go and blend, not too much, and then just blend the cut crease with the rest of the eyeshadow like that. I don't know if you guys can see that. And I just blend it in so there's no, so it looks as natural as possible. And then you go with your blending brush and you just kind of blend everything in, not being too hard, not pressing too hard, but just ensuring that everything is blended in nicely. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So we are done with with the eyeshadow, the top of the eyes. Now let me just finish the rest of my face, and then we can finish off the eyeshadow. So I'm back, and I have just finished doing the rest of my face and applied some lashes, as you guys can see, and also applied some lipstick. So now we're just going to wrap up and finish off our eyeshadow look. So this leads us to tip number 4. So when you are done with your eyeshadow and also applying your foundation, it's important that you put some eyeshadow at the bottom on your bottom lids. Now I will show you guys how you do that. Now you're just going to be using the same color that you used on the outer corners of your eye, and using the same brush, which is the eyeshadow brush. So you're just going to brush and make sure you don't get any fallout on the rest of your makeup. So preferably look down like that and just brush across there. And some more. And you can do that. So can you see how nice that looks? So there we go. We are done with that. And the last thing you do is, actually the second last thing, almost forgot, is to apply just a bit of shimmer to the outer corners of your eye. So this is generally much lighter than any shade on your eyes. So I will be using this very old palette, very old, very very old, and you will see, but I will be using this palette, and I always use this color for my inner corners. I use this very light bronze look, I guess it's bronze, I don't know. So I just use the brush that I showed you. This is literally the last brush that I'm going to be using, and then I apply that to my outer corners. This is always very ticklish, so it makes me very teary. So can you see how that stands out? It's amazing. Oh my gosh, guys, I promise you after this y'all are going to be makeup artists. I'm called, but do not forget me when you are famous. So yeah, you just do that. Make sure that you try just blend it in with the rest of your eyeshadow as well. So that's what it looks like. I am absolutely loving it. So when you're done with that, then you just apply your mascara. Guys, tell me you don't. These lashes. Do you see these lashes, guys? I mean, wow. I love them. Absolutely love. So I'm going to be applying mascara now. So I'm going to be using this Get Big Lashes Volume Curl Mascara. So this is what it looks like. It's an Essence brand. Essence is known to have the best mascaras, but I just never know what to choose. So now you're just going to, okay, let me start with my top lashes. So because I have lashes on already, I just really need to be careful. And then that's how it looks with the mascara. So I am finished with this eyeshadow look. This is how it looks. I hope you guys can see. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys, I hope this helps you guys in better ways or gaining better ways to apply your eyeshadow. Once again, this is trial and error. This is something that I learned along the journey. These are things that I have applied for myself. I am no makeup artist, but this is what works for me. And just leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know your tricks that you use when you apply eyeshadow or when you apply makeup as well. So I will see you guys in my next video.